This is the Fans Across the Water podcast. Welcome back, everyone. Or welcome if you're new. This is the Fans Across the Water podcast, where we go through the careers of the Beatles, Beatle by Beatle. My name is Mark Murphy, and as always, ik heb Marnix Wessling te gast. Marnix, hoe gaat het vandaag met je? Not bad, right? I mean, it's not amazing,
Mate,
but...
that was genuinely amazing.
Thank you.
That was so good. That was so good.
Just to clarify,
I never expect that.
Just to clarify, I was in Dutch. I said, and I'm joined by Marnix Wessling. Marnix, how are you today?
Yeah.
So thank you, Google Translate, for helping me out with that.
And you went just like no hesitation at all. I was like, "What? Are you going Russian?" Oh no, you actually went Dutch.
No,
that's good.
No, Is it sad to admit that, like, before we started recording, like before you joined the call, I listened to it a few times and like practiced it a bit, and that wasn't like that wasn't a one take. Like I wanted to try and get the pronunciation right.
Oh, but you did. This was really nice. And het gaat goed. Hoe gaat het met jou?
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, what? I'm like, how are you doing?
Yeah, no, I'm doing well, thank you. Yeah, I think this will be quite an interesting episode because there's no original material in this one. Hey everyone, it's Mark from the future here. Just been going through the editing process of this era and realised there's a mistake. I say there's no original material on here. There is, which Marnix addresses in the form of a song later on called I Wanna Cry. So apologies for that. And I'll let Mark and Marnix of the past continue on with their episode. Cheers, guys. This album has a few names. It's called the Russian album, many call it. Some call it Choba CCCP. But basically, with the way that the Russian language works, they don't say it like that. Like, obviously, we say it like that because we see the letters written down. Yeah. I'm pretty sure this is right. But yeah, so basically so you and I would read that as Choba CCCP, right?
Yeah.
But from my understanding of being told, like, in like the Russian language, it's basically completely different. So it's actually, because it translates to back in the USSR.
Yeah.
But you would say it in Russian as, I believe it's Senovove SSSR.
Yeah.
So that's how you'd say it, and that's So the Russians wouldn't say Choba CCCP.
And isn't there a misprint on the album title as well because of the Cyrillic alphabet? So it looks like a B, but it should be like the equivalent of a V.
Yeah.
Which looks, if you write it out in the Cyrillic alphabet, like sort of like a B, but actually more of like a 5 with the loop closed. So that doesn't help.
No, it doesn't. And
the Western fans in pronouncing this album name. So what do you say? I usually go Russian album, but
I normally I sometimes just say Choba CCCP just because that's what I used to say for so long. But
okay, yeah, sure.
I probably will go. I think we'll just call it the Russian album.
Yeah, let's go Russian album for the remainder of this pod.
Because if we are pronouncing it slightly wrong, like, it's just going to annoy people. Like,
exactly.
So we'll say the Russian album.
We get a different type of voice note.
Exactly. But what's cool is actually I bought this at shout out to the University of Essex where I went to uni. Every Thursday they would have like a on campus, like kind of like a market thing. Like, people would be and one of the people there, like, he would sell like records and CDs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he normally had some pretty good like Beatles stuff. Like, I remember once because he would see me there every week, and he also had the same name as me, so shout out to him. And I remember one time he was like to me, "Oh, is there anything in particular you're looking for?" And I remember I was like, "Yeah, actually, do you have Pipes of Peace by Paul McCartney?" And he was like, "I don't have it with me, but I might have it. I'll see if I can find it for you." And I went back the next week, and he'd put it in the collection, and I bought it. So yeah, but then another time, I saw this and I had to buy it. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it that well.
Oh yeah.
Oh sorry, the other way.
Yeah.
This is not only like just like the Russian album.
Yeah.
It's a Russian original.
It's a Russian original because
Yeah.
Paul's name is in Russian.
Yeah. You can't see it because it's flipped, but it's
Fuck
in
me, dude.
it's written in Russian.
Yeah, yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
I can't
Show it
keep
again.
track of this. Yeah, so that's the back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the front?
Isn't that awesome?
That's amazing.
It's really
That's
cool.
really cool.
It didn't cost me that much, you know.
Can you see if it's how many tracks does it have?
It has I think well, I'll double check. Oh, okay, this one is interesting. I think this is the third. This is the I think
13 tracks?
13 track, yeah, because it's got.
So that's the second pressing then, which would be because the first pressing is pretty rare. That would cost you a lot.
Yeah. So it's the I think it's the second.
It's an original Soviet second pressing, or from second onwards anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's fucking amazing, dude.
So getting that for 20 quid, I thought was pretty good. So
that's really good.
I was very happy with that.
Well, I'm happy for you.
Yeah, I mean, I remember was it during the press to play era?
Yeah.
You showed off some nice props, so I thought
I had the bootleg box.
I thought I'd do the same for this one.
Good.
I don't know how many people actually have like a Russian version of that album. Probably not many. Like it's probably quite.
I think I have a Western version. Because it jumped out to me like Paul's name in Russian was the first thing. I'm like, I don't think I've seen it that way before. Yeah.
Yeah. So should we jump into the timeline? Talk a bit about what was going on in 1988 when the year that the album was released.
Enlighten me.
Sure. So one thing I want to state before we go into the timeline is, and we mentioned this in the last episode, the recordings for the Russian album actually take place in 1987. So there's no recording in this year, but we did mention it in the last episode. So and hopefully you've already listened to that episode. If you haven't, well, I don't know what you've been doing. Interesting point to jump on. Please stay, but yeah. Clearly, maybe a fan of the Russian album, like just piqued your interest and you joined on from it, which is totally valid. But yeah, so in January to March of 1988, we get Flowers in the Dirt recording sessions with Elvis Costello, and I'm sure at least Marnix will be curious to know which songs were recorded in that 2-month period. So we've got Playboy to a Man, So Like Candy, 20 Fine Fingers, Don't Be Careless Love, My Brave Face, You Want Her To, The Lovers That Never Were, Tommy's Coming Home, and That Day Is Done. Dude. So that's an interesting selection of songs. Pretty strong selection of songs, I would say. That's a really...
I'm saying I'm already looking forward to the next recording, because then we're going to dig in.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, and then April to July we get other recording sessions. From my understanding, this is without Elvis. These ones. So we've got a song called Cow. We've got Don't Break the Promises, Same Love, The White Coated Man, Put It There, Flying to My Home, Distractions, Man We Was Lonely, New Moon Over Jamaica, This One, Good Sign, Où Est le Soleil, and The First Stone. Bit of a mixed one, that I have to admit. There's some really good stuff in there, and then there's some it's a whole. That's a very interesting recording session. July 12th of the same year, 1988, Paul receives an honorary doctorate from the University of Sussex, which would probably be the closest university to the Hog Hill studio. So I assume so that's why it's University of Sussex, I would assume.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe for those who aren't from the UK, you'd be like, why is the University of Sussex giving you an honorary doctorate and not, Liverpool or even a London university? But that's basically why.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we talked about this in the last episode because that's when the song was recorded. But we get the Johnny Cash album, Waters from the Wells of Home. That's released on October 10th, and as we mentioned in the last episode, Paul and Linda appear on the track New Moon Over Jamaica, written by Paul as well. It's not just Paul appearing on it. It's so that comes out in this year. And then finally, November 1st, McCartney produces and plays bass on a song Children in Need by Spirit of Play, and that was released on that date. So yeah, I mean, pretty productive year musically for him. He's recording loads of songs. He's releasing the Russian album comes out this year, and we'll talk about when that comes out in a few minutes. Not too much else really. There wasn't as many kind of exciting things that stood out to me outside of the music space, but sometimes that happens.
I think it sounds like he's pretty focused, like pretty locked in, and probably. So I would suggest that after the commercial failures of Press to Play and Broad Street, he was sort of like searching, like where do we go now, right? And what to do. So in '87, he goes back to basics, after not being able to work out his sessions with Phil Ramone, like as we discussed for the Return to Pepperland sessions, etc. Just going back to basics, going rock and roll, which is sort of like a parallel also to like playing old rock and roll songs with Wings and doing like university tours. So he does this a lot when he's sort of like lost or looking for a new start. He'll go back to what he knows, and from there being actually energized, and then getting a new collaborator with Elvis Costello and pushing on through and recording lots of material, which we're going to have a lot of fun with, I think, in the next episode. So, yeah, this seems like a sort of like a palate cleanser, the album we're going to discuss. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
with
this album,
a lot of focus and a sort of like very, working hard and putting out a great product after this. Yeah.
I think it'd be good to give this album a bit of context, because there's a bit more to it than just, Paul McCartney recorded an album. Like it's a bit more to it than that. So essentially, he, like you mentioned, with Press to Play being not very well received, he wanted to kind of go back to, his musical roots, the music he listened to growing up.
Yeah.
So these songs are a collection of mainly rock and roll and blues covers, and you get a folk song in there as well. But so basically, these sessions, they came from like a Friday night rock and roll jam session in 1987. So there's a pretty cool selection of musicians in this sort of informal session. So you got Johnny Marr, who I've actually met, really nice guy. Trevor Horn, Terry
Humble
Williams,
brag.
and Elvis Costello. So then that kind of inspired McCartney to record 22 songs over 2 days in July 1987 at Hog Hill Mill Studio, and then you get 14 tracks in total across 3 editions, and we'll get into that in a minute as to what the track listings are there. But and then the core session players on this album are Mick Green on guitar, Mick Gallagher on piano, Chris Whitten on drums, Nick Garvey on bass, and also Henry Spinetti also plays drums as well. And there wasn't really an intention to do anything with this, but what happened was they realised that, the McCartney and his manager Richard Ogden, they realised that basically rock and roll wasn't really available in the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
So this was kind of like him just doing something nice for those. Well, I say country, it's the countries, I suppose. There's multiple countries within the USSR. So that was through a label called Melodia. And I think they initially just kind of tested it out. They did some pressings that styled like bootlegs, and they circulated it around, and then they pressed like tens of thousands of copies. So it's not as if they issued... There's not as many as you'd think when you issue an album. And like we mentioned, the title, Senovovit SSSR, it means back in the USSR. So it's referencing obviously the famous Beatles track. It was... And actually... One thing that kind of, I don't know why, I find it a little bit, like the photo that they use of Paul, it's from the Ram era. And I'm a bit like...
Yeah, it's from the Road All Night
it's a good
session.
Photo. It's a great photo, don't get me wrong. And
and it's in the gatefold of the Ram LP.
Yeah, I'll probably use it in one of the thumbnails, to be honest, that photo, because it's a cool photo. But I'm kind of like, can we've got a photo of Paul at that time? But I mean, I'm nitpicking, but, I guess...
Yeah. That's true, but maybe, because I also read that his manager, this Richard Ogden, so they were talking about releasing this like unofficially in the UK, like it's like an imported bootleg, right?
Yeah.
And then EMI turned that down, and then this manager, this Richard Ogden, actually had a batch pressed as a Christmas present for Paul McCartney.
Okay.
Yeah, so and that gave him the idea to release the album in the Soviet Union as a gesture of peace, in the spirit of the Glasnost. So, and then they made the agreement with Melodia. So the part before actually reaching out to this Russian label, is where he had this sort of like concept which EMI shot down of releasing it outside of regular distribution.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. And because of his manager pushing on through and having a batch made for him as a Christmas present with this cover, so it might have been that the manager actually is the one who like picked the photo or had something to do with that.
Interesting. Yeah. That kind of checks. I guess also as well, you want a more recognizable photo of Paul McCartney, I suppose. Like,
yeah.
Just generally. What's interesting is this. The album, it did really well in Russia. Like, topped the charts. And then when it eventually gets an international release, it gets to 63 in the UK and 109 in the US. But I think the sales were, and the thinking is that the sales were probably limited because I think probably a lot of hardcore McCartney fans had already got imported copies, so they didn't need to buy a copy of it.
Yeah, which they paid a lot for.
Yeah. So that probably is why it doesn't do so well. I mean, I think for a covers album, 63 in the UK is pretty good, but I guess
I think so
maybe
too.
Paul McCartney would expect more, even if he did a covers album, which I guess stuff like Run Devil Run and Kisses on the Bottom does better, but they also have original material, so it's slightly different, I'd say.
Yeah, and I think he's coming off with those albums. He's coming off from a higher high before, commercially speaking, and here he's like climbing up out from a pretty deep valley.
Yeah.
So I think that's also a difference in how much interest there is.
That's a very good point, actually. So, like we mentioned, there are 3 different versions of this album. Yeah. So the first pressing we get is the Soviet Union vinyl edition from 1988. So we get Kansas City, 20 Flight Rock, Lordy Miss Claudie, Bring It On Home to Me, Lucille, and Don't Get Round Much Anymore on side 1. That's All Right Mama, Ain't That a Shame, Cracking Up, Just Because, and Midnight Special on the side 2. And then there's the 13-track expanded edition, which comes out after that. And the only difference there really is we get I'm Gonna Be a Wheel Someday added onto side 1.
On side 1,
and it closes side 1. And then also on side 2, the second track on side 2 is a track called Summertime. And then finally, we get the International CD edition in 1991, which is basically all of the tracks. So we've got Kansas City, 20 Flight Rock, Lordy Miss Claudie, I'm in Love Again, which is not on the previous one. Bring It On Home to Me, Lucille, Don't Get Around Much Anymore, I'm Gonna Be a Wheel Someday, That's All Right Mama, Summertime, Ain't That a Shame, Cracking Up, Just Because, Midnight Special.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think what Marnix and I are going to do is we will be using that version because it just has all the songs.
Yeah.
It just makes our lives a lot easier. We're technically not sticking to the original track list. And you're just going to have to get used to it.
But you've just heard it, so you know which... and if you look up the album now, on Spotify, Apple Music, it'll be the 11-track version.
Yeah.
But we're going to hit the tracks anyway, which were released later or on different, like, B-sides, the singles, or on a soundtrack. So we'll hit as much as possible, which was officially released from the 22 tracks which were recorded over the 2-day sessions. As well as, just briefly mention what hasn't come out yet, which is also interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And I think without further ado, should we dive straight into track 1?
Yes, sir.
So let's go to Kansas City, that famous Russian city we all know and love. But yeah, and this is familiar territory for us.
Yeah.
It's a cover song written in 1952 by Jerry Lieber and Mike Stoller. First recorded by Little Willie Littlefield, who was a big inspiration for Paul, I think particularly with the left-handedness as well. I remember talking about that where we were doing Paul's early Beatles career. It was a number 1 hit for Wilbert Harrison, and Little Richard as well has a couple of versions. And he had a version that added the Hey 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 in. And obviously, as we know, the Beatles did Kansas City Hey 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 on Beatles for Sale, which I actually think is a fun cover. So, in familiar territory here.
It's a lot of fun.
What do you think of this version of Kansas City?
This particular version, it's a rough start for me with this album because, it runs a bit long. So it's, I think we're talking about 4 minutes. Let's see, 4 minute, 4:04, right? his voice is not that appealing to me in this particular recording. It's just the problem to me is I'm comparing, like with the Beatles version or other versions I have. So yeah, this one. It's like a rough start to me. I'm not the biggest fan. What about you?
I feel like I probably like hold it in like slightly higher regard than you, but not by much. Like I think because it's familiar territory, I'm like, okay, this is nice to hear Paul sing this again.
Sure.
But I know what you mean. It could have been cut. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's a little bit undercooked.
Yeah.
Like when you cook a chicken and like it's not noticeably undercooked, but if you really look close, you're like, oh yeah, there's a bit of I probably won't get food poisoning. I won't get salmonella risky from this, but it's a little bit undercooked. I do like the little piano breakdown halfway through. It's the kind of Little Richard inspired. But I feel like there's some bits in this track, with the vocal is a little awkward, and it's kind of foreshadowing what's to come on the album, because you get some awkward moments, shall we say, on this album. It's like there's no like bad vocal performances on this album, but there's awkward moments that kind of you're like, did I hear that right? And this you see a little bit of that on this track. Like it's in the grand scheme of the album, I think it's fine, but
I think the whole sort of like live in studio character of these sessions is a bit to blame, because it's all like it's live in studio, so it's one take, right? And that's what they put down. So it's very much depending on the energy of the recording and which take they actually choose, or which did or didn't break down. And I like that you single out the piano, because our piano player on this, Mick Gallagher, who's the only one who plays the same instrument on both days, and the same session musician who's on both days. He's on fire throughout the whole album. So it's funny that you single his performance out already on the first track, which I like. Yeah.
Yeah. No. There's a few songs where I've noted like, oh, there's a nice piano breakdown here. Like it's some nice
the piano's really. This guy's really so, and everyone else on day number 2 is a different musician, right? Drummer, guitar. Paul switches from bass to guitar, so he's the one he kept, and I can see why. And I think it's really fun that you notice that straight away. Yeah,
I do think as well with this song, and it kind of becomes a running theme on the album. And I don't mean this in a positive way. This album does remind me a little bit of Driving Rain.
With the vocal, that's
not necessarily the vote. Well, a little bit, but more just also like. Oh, the production's like really undercooked, and it's So, I mean, if you know what I think about Driving Rain, then
but I definitely agree. It's so funny because this morning I was thinking about recording and gathering my thoughts, and I'm like, I have a Driving Rain vibe. I don't know why. So this is amazing that you actually have the same thing, or the same sort of experience.
I thought of it.
Something about the way he's singing, like it's a bit forced. It's the undercookedness. I really agree. That's really funny.
But anyway, the next track we've got is 20 Flight Rock. So this is was written by Eddie Cochran and Ned Fairchild. And Cochran, he actually first performs this song in a film called The Girl Can't Help It, which we've spoken about before, because this is the film that the Beatles, they recorded Birthday, they then ran back home to then watch this film, and then went back to the studio and recorded Birthday. So again, a bit more Beatles lore in there for you again, which is nice.
Also, this is the song he played for John when they met.
Exactly, to impress John Lennon on the 6th of July, 1957. And so actually I kind of wanted, because there's only one quote that I've got in the entirety of this album, and I thought I'd use it on this one.
All right, there you go. This is your specialty.
This is Paul talking about John and playing the song for him. And I believe it's from the anthology. So he says, John was a little afternoon pissed, leaning over my shoulder, breathing boozily. We were all a little sloshed. I thought, bloody hell, who's this? But he was enjoying it, what I was playing. Whole lot of shaking going on in C. I knew Tutti Frutti and Long Tall Sally. Then I played guitar upside down. I did 20 Flight Rock and knew all the words. The Quarrymen were so knocked out that I could actually sing 20 Flight Rock. That's what got me into the Beatles. I knew all the words because me and my mate, Ian James, had just got them. He and I used to record all these records and write down the words. 20 Flight Rock was a hard record to get. I remember ordering it, having to wait weeks for it to come in. We'd buy it from Curry's or NEMS. We used to go around shops and ask to hear a record and then not buy it. They used to get very annoyed, but we didn't care. Now we got to know the words. I never had a very big record collection. So I actually, with this just the Eddie Cochran song, 20 Flight Rock.
Sure,
I really enjoy this track. I think it's a fun rock and roll number. And it's nice.
It's better than the Kansas City recording. Yeah.
Yeah, so well, I like the original. I think this is one of the strongest songs on the album. Yeah. I like the song anyway. I think Paul does. It's a step up vocally from Kansas City. Like the playing's more interesting. It's Definitely. A bit bare bones, but it works. I think.
Yeah.
Nice piano breakdown again, and the guitar solo is nice. So I think this is one of the better songs on the album. Like, I have a good time listening to this.
Yeah, I agree, and to me, what pulls it over the edge is the historical significance of him singing this song and revisiting it. If that part was missing, I'd be less charmed. But I'm only human, so yeah, I'm gonna go along with this one. Yeah,
yeah. I think it's just a case of the history behind it, but also I don't know. Do you know the Eddie Cochran?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, it's a good song, right?
It's a good song. It's a really good song. Yeah, it's a classic.
It's one of my fond rock and roll tracks that I enjoy.
Yeah.
So it's nice that Paul plays it, and I think he does a good job, because some of the songs he's chosen, I think, are like, gosh, tough choice in terms of that's a tough ask. But I think here he succeeds.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, it's a strong choice.
Yeah, and go. Yeah, and then we've got Lordy Miss Claudie, which is a song first recorded by Lloyd Price in 1952, which has Fats Domino on the piano. And it topped the Billboard R&B charts for 7 weeks in the US, and it's one of his biggest sellers. I feel like, this for me, I feel like this is where the album kind of starts to take a bit of a dip, because you're like, oh, okay, it's still bare bones. These songs are kind of a bit samey. This is decent enough, but it really doesn't. You're kind of like, okay, we're on to track 3, and we're not really going anywhere.
No, and it's pre-pop music, right? So it's exactly like the blues, the 1-4-5 chord progression. Very samey on the piano. Good piano performance again on this one. Yeah. I like he does a little bit more like vocal production on this. So you have like the echo. I don't know what type of echo it's called, but you hear it a lot on like the old 50s recordings. And so it's all right, but it does, again, I don't know how much longer it is than the original. It feels longer. Like this is pushing, it's 3 minutes 18. So we're going towards 3.5 minutes. Now probably the original was shorter. I would imagine.
I'm pretty certain.
So I don't know if they're playing it slower or they're just extending it. But it doesn't have enough meat on the bones to support such a running length, I think.
He's doing the thing that John sometimes fell into on rock and roll.
Yeah.
Like there was some of the tracks John made them a bit longer, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, actually this work. But then there were other instances where you're like, I don't know what you're doing here, John. And Paul's kind of falling into this trap as well. It's weird. It's weird how they both kind of did that in some instances of like dragging out these tracks a bit more than when they didn't need to.
No, it's unnecessary. So, this is still, I think it's rough going up to now.
I think that up to this point, I think this is the weakest song. Like, I prefer Kansas City and 20 Flight Rock, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I agree. So it is something that the Beatles performed regularly in Hamburg and in the Cavern days. So it's again something which calls back to his beginnings as a musician, which is nice. Like the historical significance of these 3 tracks. That's okay. Yeah.
And then we've got so this song was only on this song only comes out on the 91 CD edition when we have all the tracks, but we've got I'm in Love Again.
Yeah.
So this is a Fats Domino written track with his producer Dave Bartholomew, and it was released. So it's actually a double A-side single. I know the Beatles popularized this, but I didn't realize there were actually artists who did double A-sides, which is interesting. But it's a double A-side with My Blue Heaven, and it became Fats Domino's 5th number 1 in the Billboard R&B charts in the US.
Yeah.
And we also get this one, as in I'm in Love Again, on the it's on the 12 of the This One single.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where it was released. Actually, before 91, right? So this is where people would have heard it first in the West.
What do you think of this one? As in, I'm in love again, not this one. We'll talk about that in the next.
Yeah. Nice.
Very confusing.
Again, I think it's okay. Like, the historical significance is also again there because this was a Paul song in the Hamburg days.
Yep.
The thing which really starts grating to me is like the certain like 80s, like late 80s sound in which it's probably to do with like probably digital mixing consoles, I would imagine, maybe microphone use. It's and there's a certain sheen to, you know, the recording and the way it comes across, which really doesn't grab me. And, you know, we're 4 tracks in. So this one I listened to separately because I mostly listened to the 11-track version.
Yeah.
So, but this is really, after listening to it separately, it's not something that I look up, you know, and I revisit. No. What about you?
Yeah, this is this one is just kind of there.
I also think the vocal is really sort of like non-committal again.
Yeah, it's like he's trying, but he's not. Do you know if that makes any sense?
Yeah,
like, it feels very performative, but not in the way that. But like not like good performative Paul singing. Like you get like, for example, Long Tall Sally or I'm Down.
Yeah.
With the Beatles, like that's performative, but it's great.
Yeah, but that's from the heart, right? And this is more like from the brain. Like it's like, my voice needs to sound like this, but I'm not feeling it, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a great way. Like it's more like thought.
Right.
Thought out.
Yeah, exactly.
Couldn't put it better myself, but I do like the guitar solo, like I said on this one. I'm not sure. Maybe this is in the original track, but Paul does, like, before some of the solos, like he'll just start barking.
Yeah.
Why are we doing that? Like, it just feels a bit odd.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah.
I know in the lyrics.
I mean, if you're a 20-year-old in Hamburg, you know, high on prellies and trying to get laid. I can imagine you barking, but he's like a family man. He's 40 whatever here.
It's just I don't know. Again, I know that the lyric references a dog, which is why it's not like he does it for no reason. But it's just like,
yeah,
I don't know. This isn't Hey Bulldog, man. You know, like,
no, far from it.
Like, far, you know, just again performative from the brain, not
exactly.
Oh, I should do a dog bark because the song talks about a dog. It's not.
No, but it doesn't add anything, right?
No.
So that's a problem, basically.
Agreed. And then we've got a track that we actually spoke about when we covered Rock and Roll with John Lennon. That is Bring It On Home to Me. So, like we mentioned, it's a Sam Cooke original, 26th of April 1962. It's released the following month as a B-side to the Having a Party single. So on John's version, we get him absolutely steaming off alcohol, singing with Klaus Vormann. Whereas this one, Paul's sober, I presume, in the studio. I mean, I guess this version's better than the John Lennon version.
This version is better, but it's like, you know, what are we comparing it with? I do think I have a bit more patience for this, because I think it's a stronger song than the previous one, for example. So I like that. I really like Mick Green on guitar here. So I think he's cooking on this one.
Yeah, no, I did mention I like the guitar on this, actually.
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, you know what your thing is, and the Beatles fall in this category as well. Yeah. But I just think if you're going to cover, I feel like someone like Sam Cooke, and I'm not a Sam Cooke, you know, encyclopedia, but from what I know, I really like, and I feel like if you're going to cover Sam Cooke, I feel like you've got to either A, do something completely different sound-wise, or B, like you've got to go all guns blazing. Yeah. And if you don't do that, you're never really going to succeed, and that's kind of the problem with both Paul and John's respective versions. They're like, they're fine, but when you're like, why would I listen to these when I can just listen to the Sam Cooke version? Like, true. That's true. But in terms of the album, it is a point where he gets a little bit more. It's like a more tender song, right?
It's a bit more emotional. So it does switch it up as opposed to like the previous 4 tracks.
Yeah,
which is being like basic rock and roll tracks. So this has a bit more sort of like message, or
a bit more variety, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what works for me in this context. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then what's interesting is Paul does another cover of this later in 2006, where he does. It's the final track on the Al Jarreau and George Benson album, Giving It Up, and they do a cover of that, and he sings it with them.
Yeah.
Got a nice cover. I actually think I might prefer that to this one.
Yeah.
Just because it's a bit more like fun. Like it's not maybe technically it's not better, but it's just like it's a bit more like it just feels a bit. It gives you more of a feeling. Whereas a lot of songs on here, like I don't feel anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I get what you mean.
There's not many songs where like it really like. It's like you go back to that point about the heart and the head. Like with a lot of these tracks don't really make me feel anything. Whereas that other version of Bring It On Home to me.
It does.
It makes me feel something a bit more than this does.
Yeah.
Kind of
I totally get what you mean. I need to revisit that, but
Yeah, we'll get back to it.
Exactly what I said. Like in context of the album, it's fine. It switches it up, but we're still not, where I'd actually really want to be listening to a Paul album.
Yes. Very true, very true. So then the next track we have is a pretty one of the most famous songs I think generally from this, like just as a song is very famous. We've got Lucille, written by Richard Penniman, known as Little Richard, and Albert Collins, recorded in 1956, 30th of July. It was released as a single in February 1957. And you got Send Me Some Lovin' as the B-side. Beatles, obviously, some of you will know, recorded this for BBC Radio. On the 3rd and 7th of September. And we get versions on Live at the BBC Volume 2, and they also play it in the Get Back documentary. So it's a fun bit of background. Very like a culturally significant song for the Beatles, and so it makes sense why Paul was chosen to do this one. What do we think of this cover?
So I think musically it's fine. I can tell the band are sort of locked in here. So that's what I like. Vocally, and I'm very sorry to say it, but it's just too difficult not to compare with like the Live at the BBC version. There's a version on the first edition, but also on the Volume 2 on air, which is amazing. They're really cooking there, and I love listening to that version. And here it's like a sort of, I can't really step over myself in this regard. I don't know what the right way to say that is, but I really can't let go of like the old versions and comparing those with this, and it just sounds so forced. His high is like almost squeaky vocal. So I'm not having fun with this one at all.
Agreed.
It's like a very long 3 minutes.
This is kind of what I was going back to earlier. About like just weird singing decisions, and it technically sounds good, but also you're like, it's just not landing for me here. And I'm sorry, like I know
it's not landing.
It's not landing, but I also just think again, like this song has been covered so many times. Like I think I did a cover version of this at one point, and you know what I mean, like that. I think and so it's just again like if you're covering like Little Richard again, like I think you've got to, like I said before, either do something completely different or go all guns blazing.
Exactly.
He does. I'm convinced. I know it says on the album like track list Lucille. I'm convinced he's not singing the word Lucille. He says Lucy. I swear to God.
Yeah.
It sounds like
that's also a problem with Paul in this period, is where his voice turns American. I think I talked about this on Broad Street as well. His pronunciation goes American, right?
For no one.
Yeah, exactly. And I hate that. it's horrible.
It's not even
doesn't
that.
help
like,
at all.
I'm genuinely convinced. Like when he says, I listened back to that. I even listened back to this earlier today. I was like, there's no eel on the end. He literally goes, Lucy.
Yeah, because he's out of breath, probably.
Lucy.
He's like pushing 50 here.
Yeah. I can't get over that. And so that this version, this cover will always be really funny to me, because he's basically just changed the title of the song for no reason. Like, genuinely, he doesn't. He's not even saying Lucille. He's saying Lucy. I'd recommend you as the listener go back and listen to this song because you'll notice it. I'd like to think. Maybe you don't, but definitely sounds like it to me.
Yeah.
But so then we have "Don't Get Around Much Anymore," which was originally titled "Never No Lamont," and it's originally recorded by Ellington in 1940.
Duke Ellington, yeah.
Duke Ellington, yes. And 2 years later, it became a hit single for. It became a hit single later on, and there were lyrics added by Bob Russell. And I'm going to go straight in on this one. This is easily the best thing on here by like quite.
Definitely.
I'm getting my underrated stamp. I'm like stamping all over this.
Oh, you're going for this one, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's another song that's not too far off this one.
Yeah.
To me, it's like this is exactly what I want. Like I think the band.
This is great.
The band are on form here. I think the vocals.
Well, this is a different band. So this is the first song we're hearing on the songs up till now.
Yeah.
In which Paul switches to guitar. The guitar is on fire here in this song.
Mm-hmm.
So Mick Gallagher stays on piano, but then we get Nick Garvey on bass and Henry Spinetti on drums. So, and I can tell the difference between day one and this is recorded on July 21st, so the second day. Totally different energy. So it's like a different album, and this is what.
The second side definitely is where we get the better songs, I think.
Yeah, this because we're going to get 2 more from the second day, but the rest is all from day one. And it's so unfortunate that it's so very clear that day one just wasn't, what it should have been. And day 2 is where it starts working. And then, he releases only 3 songs on this album from the second day. But you can hear it straight away. And I'm in total, complete agreement. But this is where I'm having fun. This is something I revisit as well. Great version.
We go back to talking about feeling something. And finally, I'm feeling something.
Yeah,
there's just some swagger in this, and it's. Yeah, I really just like I think like the band and the vocals and everything. Everyone's just on top form here, and I think it's a great song. I think it's a great cover. It's really good.
Yeah. But it's interesting because the Duke Ellington version is basically a big band instrumental. And then released first recorded in 1940.
Yeah.
Right, and then the lyrics are added, and then it was actually in the charts, both versions at the same time in 1943. So it's really, really old. I mean, so Paul would have picked it up probably from his dad or something, and like their version is pretty unique, which he puts on this album. So I think that's also it has like a twist to it and something creative to it. That also helps.
Yeah, definitely. But I
so
think
you don't have like the comparison thing, which the roadblock, which is Lucille, for example.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I think this is. I think this is. If you haven't listened to this, I would definitely say seek it out. Like it's not. Again, I don't think he stretches it out too much with this one either. It's not. I think it's probably a little bit longer. It's maybe like 3 minutes, but
yeah. But it doesn't feel that. No, it's 2:51.
Oh, okay.
So that's like perfect. Like 2 minutes 50 is basically the perfect like pop single length. Yeah.
But double thumbs up from me.
In agreement. Not my stamp yet, but this is great. Yeah.
Fair enough. I'm really hoping that it's there's another song where I hope it's the one that I can almost get my underrated stamp to, but we'll see.
Yeah. We'll see.
But we've got the track after that is I'm Gonna Be a Wheel Someday. So this is written by Fats Domino, Roy Hayes, and Dave Bartholomew. Released by Bobby Mitchell and the Toppers in 1957. And Fats Domino also does a recording of this song in 1959. And Bartholomew, as we mentioned in our previous track, is producing the B-side to I Want to Walk You Home, which reached 22 in the US Billboard R&B chart. This track is also on every version except the 7 single. It's like the B-side to My Brave Face. Obviously Paul McCartney's version, not the Fats Domino version. That would be weird. But what do we think of I'm Gonna Be a Wheel Someday?
So this doesn't really do that much for me, and this is a common complaint with me by now in this podcast, but it's really long. It's 4 minutes and 14 seconds. It's from day one. It's not sticky to me at all. I mean, it's decent. It doesn't stick out like a sore thumb either, but it's not in any way like something which is worth remembering to me. And it's not on the like streaming version. And apart from research for this pod, I never listened to this.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah. To be honest, this is a weird one because I don't think this song is like produced or mixed very well.
Yeah.
It's the vocals are way too powerful, just in terms of dynamic, not in terms of like it's way too loud and it overblows at like pretty much everything except the drums. Like you've got the vocals and the drums like right at the forefront, and everything else is like pushed back, and it's not a pleasant listening experience to my ears. Especially if you're listening to it on a speaker, it's more tolerable when you've got like headphones in.
Yeah, so you can hear a bit
really
more.
Really notice it on a speaker, like the one that you can maybe see behind me there. Yeah. Like it just didn't sound very good, and if I'm noticing that, that's a problem.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I agree. This is, it's not really worth adding to the album. It's filler.
Definition.
Sorry. Yeah.
Definition of filler. Yeah.
All right.
So I think with that, we'll move on to the next track, which is That's All Right, Mama. So it's written and recorded by Arthur Crudup in 1946 and released a single the following year. It's basically considered to be one of the first rock and roll songs, recorded by Elvis Presley in 1954 at a faster tempo.
Yeah.
And it was one of those songs that it basically kickstarted the career of Elvis. It got a lot of distribution and disc jockeys really liked it, and it got a lot of play. And this is a song that I know Paul was very fond of, and actually there's a great version that he does of this on the Rockin' Tonight DVD where he plays it with Elvis's band.
Oh, yeah.
And that's actually really good. I like that version a lot more than this version. This was not bad, but this is another one where the vocal, there's way too much echo, and it kind of takes me out of it a little bit. And especially when we've got this other version that he does later on, I have no need to ever come back to this version.
No, you don't. And we also have a good Beatle version on Live at the BBC.
We do indeed.
Yeah, and it's one of the songs they've played from 1957 onwards, so Quarrymen period, always with Paul on lead. So, that's it doesn't add anything to the experience, him re-recording this in this way. I can understand why he would play it, but this and it doesn't add to the album to me.
Yeah, are you familiar with that Rockin' Tonight?
No. Yeah, but maybe if I see it, I probably have.
Before.
Yeah, I don't know if Paul does the double bass as well, or the standing bass on that.
I can't remember, but essentially he has the like the Elvis original band, and it's really good. Like,
oh, that's really
good.
Vocals
just a lot. Like he's older, but it works perfectly. I think it's from the 2000s. I want to say.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
No, I'm definitely going to look that up. But here again, it's sort of like a slight bump in the road.
Yeah. I would agree.
Too bad.
Yeah, I'd say check out the Rockin' Tonight DVD version because that's a lot better than this.
Good recommendation. Yeah.
Yeah, but Summertime is the next track. So this is a song that was composed actually in 1934.
Yeah, this isn't a rock and roll song at all.
No. So it was written by Ira Gershwin for opera Porgy and Bess with lyrics by Dubois Hayward. And it's one of those songs that very quickly became like a jazz standard. Yeah. It's got apparently tens of thousands of cover versions, which
it has so many cover versions.
That's insane. And actually, so this is an interesting bit of Beatles lore. The Beatles actually recorded this on the 15th of October 1960 in Hamburg. It's the first occasion where Lennon, McCartney, Harrison, and Starr record a song together. There were 6 copies of this that were pressed onto an acetate disc, although apparently none of the copies have survived, which is a real shame because that sounds like it'd be a cool bootleg to have, but they've apparently been lost to time, sadly. But what do you think of Summertime? Because this is another one that was not on the original pressing, but then gets
again, doesn't really add anything to me. For Summertime, The versions I like of this song is when someone really goes all in with a like a belting vocal performance. And as I've mentioned before, I'm not really a fan of Paul's vocals on day one. I'm not really feeling, I don't know if he's not warmed up enough or whatever. And and this is again such a long version. It's drawn out over what is it? 4 minutes 58. Like, please. Yeah, so I'm not enjoying myself at all. I'm glad this is not on the 11-track version. What about you?
Well, you know what? We finally got some friction on this pod.
Oh,
I really like this.
You really like it?
Yeah. I think this is really good.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's okay. That's fair.
I think this is one of the better vocal performances like on the album.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, there actually is a moment. This song actually kind of makes me feel something a bit. It's not like Paul's best ever vocal, but especially when he does that like vocal scream at the end, that actually feels more like it feels more like spontaneous.
Yeah, true. Okay.
Than like some of the other stuff that he does on this album. It just feels a bit more. This feels a bit more raw, and I like the vocal. I like the band on this. I think this is really good. To me, this is like a great example. This is a textbook example of McCartney taking one of the best things from a session and burying it.
Yeah.
I would have happily had this on. If you were doing an 11-track version, I would happily have this on there easily.
I think what redeems it to me is the guitar. Mick Green was for me like the A player on day one, so I like that. But again, that's what the guitar solo sticks out to me more than like anything else on this song.
It's just something a bit different as well with this one. Like, there's a bit more. I just think it's a slower tempo. Just again, there's a bit more. We finally have something that's a bit different. Like you mentioned that with on the previous track, just something a bit different, and I think it works as well. Like I can
get into that.
I think this is probably like my second favorite song from.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Well, I like that you like it. That's good, and it is original in the way that this is like a version of the song, which is very different from how it was originally recorded and produced in like a stage play. So that's nice.
Also, just good that we've got some friction as well, because literally I think pretty much every single song before that we were like
we're in agreement. Yeah.
It was good to
this is I get where you're coming from, and then still I don't ever I listen to it for research purposes, and I enjoyed the electric guitar solo, and then I thought this is 4 minute 58, which I'm not getting back. That's a shame.
I think I just hadn't listened to it in a while. I kind of forgot about it, and then I was like, oh, hello, where have you been all my life? Do you know what I mean? Kind of thing.
Well, that's good. No, but that's nice that you discover something in it that you're like, oh, okay, I like this. Yeah.
Yeah, but do you know what song I didn't have that experience with? The next track, which is "Ain't That a Shame." The song. So this song is written by Fats Domino and producer Dave Bartholomew. Released a single in 1955. Another US Billboard R&B chart topper, so it's selling over more than 1 million copies, which for back then that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Another one that's on the My Brave Face B-side, but not the 7, and it's also on the John Lennon Rock and Roll album covers as well. I don't like this cover. I think it's pretty bad.
I love it.
No,
this is amazing. This is so good.
Not. Oh my god.
This is so good. This cover. So we're flipped now from Summertime, from the previous track. This is like probably my second or third favorite thing on the album.
Wow, really? God.
Yeah, man. And I like he does this weird vocal production thing with echoing on the vocal, and I like the energy of the band. I'm really into this, man.
Oh, so you like?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I hate it. I
love it.
It's awful.
Paul
it's
getting
so
freaky.
Bad.
It's cool.
This is the textbook example to me on the album of like that. Well, Paul, that was a choice. Not a good one, but a choice.
No, good. Yeah, lovely choice. Really good.
I hate, and also because I really like this song as well, like the Fat Domino. I'm just like, what are you doing, Paul? Like, what are you doing? This is so bad.
It's really cool. They're going all out. They're like,
so you
balls to the wall.
You prefer this to the John Lennon cover?
Yeah, also, yeah.
No, John. I like. I think John Lennon covers. But I can't believe. I
I
can't
really
believe.
like this.
I
It's
thought
really
you'd
cool.
find. I thought like me, you'd find that like. I thought you'd
No,
find that.
I think that's cool, man.
I think it's awful. Like it just.
No,
Oh
it's
my
really, really
god.
cool. It's like, what the
Wow.
fuck
Okay.
are you doing there? I think it's
You,
amazing.
you really threw me off with that one. I was not
I knew, I
expecting.
saw it coming. You're like, and unfortunately, the next song, I'm like, oh, here we go.
God. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, man.
I suppose it's a bit like what you thought when I started praising Love Mix. You were like, what?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. Wow. Okay. I mean, that's a decision. That's an opinion. I suppose.
This is basically, this is going to be my underrated stamp. This one. Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That God, I would have not. That I would have not put money on that.
It was between this and another one. We'll get there, but yeah,
Wow. Okay. Because this is like
I think this is
might
awesome.
this might actually be my least favorite song from the sessions. That's so crazy.
That's
Wow.
very cool. No, I actually, listening towards the pod, I actually put this on repeat a couple of times. Yes, I did. I'm not kidding.
So bad.
I think this is so cool, and like the drums going bum bum bum. It's like it's so cool.
Oh, God.
It's so unhinged, I love it.
I really hope Fats Domino never heard this cover. To be honest,
Oh man.
I think he definitely did because I don't think he. I think he was with us until like 2010. But it's a bit like when was it when John Lennon does the cover of Peggy Sue? I'm like, yeah, I'm really glad that Buddy Holly never got to hear that because that's. But yeah.
Oh wow, this is so funny that we're so different on this one.
Yeah,
no, I had a great time with this. I'm
you know what,
crying.
man? You know what, man? It has me cracking up, which is actually it's actually the next track that we can talk about.
You can only be you. This is
Exactly.
Nice, nice one.
Yeah, cracking up. Written by Bo Diddley. Under his birth name, Elias McDaniel. It's a pretty cool name, actually.
That's fancy.
And it's his fifth
Ellis
single.
Bates McDaniel. There we go.
But yeah, so it's his fifth single and is released in 1959. Got to number 14 in the US Billboard R&B charts. And Beatles perform a version of this song on the Get Back, Let It Be sessions.
Yeah.
You know what? I enjoy this one. It's cool.
Yes. So this was it was either Ain't That a Shame or Cracking Up for me.
See, if you'd gone with this one, I would have been like, yeah, totally valid.
Yeah.
Totally valid. Like the percussion's really cool, and like you got the
really
organ.
Cool. The guitar is on there. It's again Paul on guitar. So this is again day 2. So these are all obviously the 3 day 2 tracks are my favorites. So the Ain't That a Shame and this one, those are the ones on there, and I really think this is nice. Great vocal performance as well.
Yeah.
Really, really lovely. I really like this. Yeah.
This was a bit like Summertime, where I was like, oh, hello. It's a bit like when you when maybe you go to school with someone and then you don't see them for years, and then you see them again and you're like, you're actually really attractive now.
It turned out well.
Yeah.
Surprising. Yeah.
It's kind of like that. Well, not surprised, but it's like, okay, yeah. I just think again, this offers something different that a lot of the songs on the album, like it's again, I feel like there was a bit more love put into this. Do you know what I mean? A bit more like, just like with
definitely
with the percussion, with the organ, like just well-made track.
Yeah, and the backing vocals, like the harmonies on the chorus, really good. Yeah, I'm having fun with this one as well. This is really good. Yeah,
easily one of the best songs off this album for sure.
Yeah. Now he revisits this again on Tripping the Live Fantastic as a live soundcheck version. Yeah, I'd stick to this one. This is like fully fledged out, really good.
Don't even remember that version, so that says all you need to know.
That says a lot, but just for I mean, we are of course, very very serious podcast who have to be very very complete. And you mentioned the Get Back session version.
Yeah.
So that's it's full circle on that. But really really recommended this one.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, and then Just Because follows that, and so this is written by Joe Shelton, Sidney Robin, and Bob Shelton. Originally recorded by Nellstone's Hawaiians in 1929. I mean, what a name that is for a band.
1929, jeez.
Yeah. And
Okay.
this is later recorded by the Shelton brothers in 1933. And again, there's maybe takes with a pinch of salt, but some sources, I put in brackets which sources, doesn't say that Sidney Robin actually wrote the song alone, and that the Sheltons just added their name to it when they recorded it, which admittedly is believable, just because I can imagine a woman writing a song back then. You could a man could just be like, "That's mine, actually."
Yeah, that's mine now.
Yeah, that's my song. That's mine now. It's believable. Whether it actually is, who knows? But Elvis Presley has also done a version of this.
Yeah. So this is one of like the two Elvis songs, right? So yeah, like early Elvis.
Yeah,
so
it's
definitely paying homage to his influences.
It's his debut. It's on the Elvis's debut.
Yeah.
Album. I think it's
so this and That's Alright Mama. Those are the Elvis tracks here, right?
I think this is pretty decent. Nice piano work on this one. It's definitely one of the better songs on the album, but it's not like on the level of like say Cracking Up, Summertime.
Yeah. I would say it's a highlight of the first day recording, like the 20th. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the tempo is there, so it is 3.5 minutes, but it sounds like played like they're playing it energetically, which I also like. There's a good echo on the vocal, so it's one of the stronger vocal performances. He doesn't try to go too high, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. What was interesting, because I remember when looking at the track list again, I had to kind of double check, because I was like, just because, I was like, wait, surely, like, this isn't the one that John Lennon covers on Rock and Roll. Because I was like, I don't remember. And then I had to double check, and I was like, oh, that's weird that they both covered songs called Just Because, but they're completely different.
But they're different, yeah.
I mean, this is a lot better than the John Lennon.
It is,
20 million pints deep singing Just Because Phil Spector told him to.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good, decent cover. I think I don't have much more else.
I think it's good. Yeah, but it's like the album is definitely like this, like you mentioned before. The second or the B side of the LP is much stronger than the A side.
Yeah, definitely. And we've got the final track that we'll be talking about here.
Yeah,
and that is Midnight Special.
Yeah,
this is a song that's first published in 1923, so it's the oldest composition on this album.
Yeah, it's basically like a traditional folk song, right? Yeah. So it doesn't have like one writer. So it's arranged by McCartney, also noted, I think, in the liner notes.
Yeah. And so the Beatles perform a version of it during the Get Back, Let It Be sessions, January 3rd, 1969.
Yeah.
So there's... Yeah, there was like this. So if I'm not mistaken, Midnight Special, along with Kansas City, Lordy Miss Claudie, and Don't Get Around Much Anymore, are some of the what they call golden oldies released as a B-side for the Once Upon a Long Ago 12 and CD singles in 1987.
Yeah.
So nice. No, so some audiences would have been familiar with some of the songs from that as well.
Yeah.
You know what? So again, I know this version because of Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Oh yeah.
That's a good cover. They kind of keep more of the folk style.
Yeah.
But no, I like this. I think this is a nice little cover. I like the acoustic guitar in here. I think this is one of the highlights it's one of the best songs of the album. I like this actually. It's good.
I think this is good as well. Yeah, and I think it's also because of the song. It's such a standard. Right, so it sounds like he really inhabits the song, and I think his vocal performance is stronger on this one as well, being a first day vocal performance. But I like this, and he does this again. He played it in the MTV Unplugged concert in '91, but it was not included on the album. But you can look it up, I guess, and he does it a lot in sound checks. So there are a lot of bootleg versions of this as well, from him sound checking it before recording or before performing, right?
Yeah.
It's also in the Get Back film.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is like really in the DNA of his development as an artist. So yeah, I like this one too. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I think this is actually for an album that's a bit that actually ends on a surprisingly good note.
Yeah, definitely a strong second half. You really need to push through the first 3-4 songs, I think, to get somewhere. Yeah.
So before we go into our final thoughts of the album and stuff, I've put together I've created a scenario in my mind where I'm alive during this time, and they come to me and they're like, "We've got these songs. can you make an album from this? And I go, well, first up, we're not making this an album. We're making it an EP.
EP, okay. So what's your
not
EP?
Enough good songs to make an album here. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I've gone for a 5-track fancy EP.
Okay.
So side 1 has got 2 tracks, and then side 2 has got 3.
Yeah.
I think just for the structure. So side 1, I've got 20 Flight Rock and Don't Get Around Much Anymore. I think it's a good side 1.
Good. Yeah.
And then side 2, kick off with Summertime.
Yeah.
Cracking Up.
Yeah.
And we end on Midnight Special.
Yeah. My only swap would be Summertime, Ain't That a Shame. But I was thinking, while you were saying this, I'd go 20 Flight Rock, and I'd go exactly the same, apart from that track. So that's really nice. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Ain't That a Shame can do one. It's not going anywhere near this. If one of the execs had come up to me and said, Mark, I think we should put this track on, I would laugh in their face.
Yeah. So maybe we discuss what they recorded, because they recorded 22 tracks in 2 days, and then we can discuss, the album proper, I guess.
Yeah.
So
have you got? I'm guessing by that you've got the list up and ready for me.
Yeah, exactly. So 2 of the tracks had an official release. So one is the blues jam "I Wanna Cry" as a B-side to this one. So you can find it online, and this is a blues jam, so it's officially a Paul McCartney credit. So it's not a cover. Like most of his blues jams, I'm also thinking of Flaming Pie has a couple of those types of songs.
Yeah.
It's pretty long. It doesn't really go anywhere. It's fun to listen to maybe once or twice. But also with the lyrics, they're pretty free associative, and in the Paul style, when he sort of like tries to think of stuff on the spot. So I think, a listen once or twice is probably enough for this. So then there's another one which was officially released on a double LP CD called The Last Temptation of Elvis, and that's Paul's cover of It's Now or Never. So we repurposed that for release on this compilation album, which was basically artists paying homage to Elvis. I think this one is fun. It's a good song. It's Now or Never. It's like really a classic song. I think that's worth seeking out and looking up. I don't think it's on streaming, but you can find it online. But it's one of these, probably a rights issue, where like a CD or an LP isn't digitized yet, or there are legal troubles with labels and stuff like that. But It's Now or Never is a definite recommend to look out for. Then, just for posterity's sake, the 6 songs which remain unreleased, most notably a version of I Saw Her Standing There, which I would like to hear, especially depending on the day it was recorded. Yeah. An old American folk song called Take This Hammer, an Eddie Cochrane song called Cut Across Shortly, an Elvis song called Poor Boy, Lend Me Your Comb, Carl Perkins, which has a great Beatle version, and No Other Baby by the Vipers, which was re-recorded again in '99, so about 10 or 12 years later, for Run Devil Run, which is to me one of the most amazing tracks on that album, but we'll get to that in time. So that hits all the songs recorded over those 2 days in Hog Hill Studio.
Thank you very much for that, Marnix. That was very informative but also very concise. That was very, very well done.
Thank you.
So yeah, I think now that we've kind of covered all of that, I think and we'll probably end up chatting about maybe a couple of those songs in the next episode. But the Russian album. What are your kind of final thoughts now that we've gone through all the tracks?
Yeah, the thing is, I was thinking about this. I sort of like want to like it more than I actually like it. If you get what I mean. I think it's I think the cover is cool. I think the concept is cool. I think the song selection is very, very relevant and historically relevant and very, very Paul, so to speak. But I really don't end up revisiting it all that much. And that's a shame.
Ain't that a shame, yeah.
Yeah. So I had fun revisiting it for this recording, for our podcast. I think I'll give the day 2 tracks a couple of extra spins. But I think this is probably going to be a once every 5 years thing for me.
Yeah, for me, this is kind of like there's definitely some crossover in terms of points that you made there.
Yeah, yeah,
One of the things like I like the idea of it more than when you actually like sit down. The idea it's like, oh
yeah,
yeah, like rock and roll covers,
yeah,
yeah, and it's like, and he's giving it to a country that they can't have rock and roll, so it's like, yeah, and then
yeah.
like the final product, you're like, oh okay, this is like a 2-day session, and a lot of it sounds really rushed and not very well
Yeah.
mixed. And there's like, I think that EP I made is 5 songs. I think those are the songs.
That would have been so good. That's such a good idea.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of those things, and I was just thinking about it again. This album just generally doesn't. I don't really feel much from it, and I think
That's really well put.
And the
Yeah.
problem is as well is and again, partly this is just because of it, just who I am and my brain and my DNA. I
Yeah.
also found when listening to this album, like, I just found it hard to like actually stay locked in.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I found my
Sure.
mind like wandering away from the,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I had to like really be like, no, you've got to listen to this. Like
Focus.
my brain,
Focus.
my
Yeah.
brain just sometimes is a beast of its own, and will just like, just
Get
completely,
distracted. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
just, especially with side one, like I just found my brain
Yeah.
drifting off, which suggests to me that it's just not engaged.
Yeah.
So, for example,
Yeah.
I would rather listen to "Give My Regards to Broad Street."
You would. Oh.
Yep. It's pretty close.
I really hate that fucking album. So I'm thinking, can I get there?
But the thing is, even when Broad Street is admittedly not great, it makes me feel something.
Yes, but like White Hot Rage is maybe not what I want to feel
You've also got
at that particular moment.
You've also got 3 amazing original tracks on "Give My Regards to Broad Street."
True. True.
So,
Well, I think that, yeah.
there is a lot of clutter in there, admittedly, but I don't know. I think, with the exception of one album, which we will get to
Yeah.
later down the line, I think this is like possibly the worst album he's put out. Like, which albums are better than this? Are worse than this? Sorry, not many.
No, I'm stumped. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think you're right. I
it's
really don't want to say it, but I have to say it. Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I have
again,
to
like,
agree.
I could see from a certain point of view, to quote Obi-Wan Kenobi, like, you could argue
Hello
maybe
there.
this is better than "Give My Regards to Broad Street." Fair enough.
It's cooler. It's definitely cooler. It's just to
Yes
cover
and
it.
no. Yes and no. It is and it
Yeah.
isn't. But yeah, I just think this is. Yeah, it's kind of a shame, and yeah,
Yeah, it does. No, I agree. I agree, but I still think it's. You should listen as a Paul fan. I think you should listen to it at least once, and make your mind up. Are you like a
Yeah.
Mark or a Marnix in regards to "Ain't That a Shame"? Because that's the litmus test, right? That's the one right there.
Yeah, there are certain tracks where it really, just in general throughout the Beatles discography, you can be, are you a Marco? Because there's some. I mean, we've done a lot of stuff, but there's also some. When we're opposite on something.
We have some diverting opinions in that regard. Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
no, but I think this. I actually had a bit more fun revisiting this because Broad Street. I know the originals. I will listen to them when I'm in the mood and I want to look them up, right? And I really didn't want to listen to the rest of that album. And here it was sort of like forgotten, so it was sort of like interesting to revisit it again. And then especially it picking up on side 2, I'm like, oh, but it's actually maybe better than I remembered. But you do have to push through a lot of, sameness on side A first. And I think overall your take is the most realistic one. So
I do. Yeah,
I'll agree with that.
I do agree with your point of saying to people who maybe haven't listened to this album, check it out, because you will develop your own opinion. Like, for example, I don't know, maybe you'll love, like, I don't know, Lucille. Maybe you love the fact that he actually sings Lucy. Maybe you're called Lucy and that resonates with you. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, give it, like, develop your own opinion on it.
How would you rank this or contrast and compare with rock and roll? Because that's John doing, like a lot of the same material or the same vibe.
It's like, it's like you read my mind. Because I was thinking in the back in my brain, I was thinking of all the Beatles solo covers albums. We get 2 from Ringo, we get 1 from John, we get 3 from Paul.
Yeah.
This I think is quite definitively like the worst covers. Like, this rock and roll's better than this.
Yeah, I think so
Like
too.
rock and roll,
Yeah.
the thing that I do give John credit for, even if he sometimes, for example, does a kind of reggae
Yeah.
style "Do You Want to Dance," but at least
Yeah.
it's different. I might not
It's
like
different.
it, but like
Yeah.
Paul kind of, for the most part, just kind of sticks to like just standard guitar, drums, bass,
Yeah.
piano.
Yeah.
It's a
True.
bit,
True.
it gets quite samey in places.
Yeah, that's true. And I would say, Stand By Me is like, far and away, I think probably one of the best Beatles solo covers, and
I mean,
something
you've
that,
also got. I always think with
yeah,
rock and roll, you've got like songs like I love "Slipping and Sliding." I'm sure you
yeah,
remember when we spoke.
yeah,
Like, "Slipping and
yeah.
Sliding" so good.
It's really
Um,
good. Yeah.
like "Bebop a
No,
Lula."
way better, way better. Yeah. Now
Like
that
the
I think
highs
of
on
it,
rock and roll are like quite a bit higher than
quite a bit higher.
the only one
Yeah, I
that.
do
Yeah, like I
agree.
said, the only one that I think really competes is
Yeah,
probably "Don't Get Around Much Anymore."
yeah.
And that's kind of
I
it.
think so.
Like
Yeah.
I like "Summertime," but a lot of those rock and roll songs, like the
Yeah,
peak
and
of rock.
Cracking Up made me think of John as well, because he would do like percussion stuff and like this arpeggiated guitar sort of
I
thing.
I would have
Yeah,
loved to have heard Lennon do.
yeah. John
That would
Cracking
have
Up
been
would be
cool.
really good. Yeah,
Yeah, God, that's a
yeah,
really cool what if actually.
yeah. You could make like a sort of like a John versus Paul, like the best of both. You could make one album,
Oh, like a
right?
compilation, yeah.
Yeah, like the highlights of both. That would
Fuck,
be
why didn't I
cool.
think of that? I could have done this. I could have done that going into the episode, and it would have been really fun. Oh well,
Well,
we'll
this
do.
is, maybe our next project.
We'll
Yeah,
do another. We'll definitely do it at some point. I feel like I can make a really good album from that. I mean, it will
I think so
definitely.
too. Yeah.
It'll be very rock and roll heavy, but that's just the
Yeah,
way.
but it would be really complimentary, I think. I think we can find something nice there. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, so again, this is much more fun to me than talking about this and, getting into this material and the history than, Broad Street. So, yeah, I think that's nice. And I'm happy that he revisits it later. We'll get there with Run Devil Run. But, I think this is a good warm-up. And then, we'll discuss that one when we get there.
Yeah, exactly. Before we go, I will just do. Well, there's one country I want to shout out because I've been looking at the podcast charts for our podcast, and we've actually like around in the last couple of weeks since we're recording this sort of mid-April. We started to like get some charting a bit in like in the UK, which we do fairly regularly, but like considering it's been a bit since we released an episode, it's nice that there's some people in the UK like diving back in and pushing us up the music history charts. That was nice. I believe also, I think we might have done a little bit in. I noticed a while ago actually, Canada. We made some movements, which was nice. I didn't know we had any Canadian listeners, so that's cool.
That's cool. Shout out Canada.
But the country I want to shout out, I mean, I know we had listeners from there before, but we actually started to make dents in the charts there a little bit. Is shout out to the Australians who listen to us.
The Aussies.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah. Like I noticed we were in the music history charts. We sort of started to chart a little bit in Australia, which is nice.
That's very cool.
Don't know how many of you in Australia are actually listening, but big ups to you.
Each and every one is totally appreciated, and we love it. So and tell us what all these lovely people from Canada and Australia and whatever. If you have any requests, or if you want to hear more of certain things or whatever, like drop us a line. We're really open to that because we do this for the listener and for ourselves, of course.
Of course, yeah. I think one day we'll definitely do a thing where I'll go through all of the countries that have like listened to like at least an episode of ours, because it's actually it's a lot bigger than you think.
Yeah.
I'm pretty crazy. Like maybe if someone just listened to one episode, but it's a wide range of countries. It's kind of surprising.
That's nice.
So yeah,
shout out
to the Australians. But I think but without further ado, I'll just go through the socials and things like that, just so if you want to reach out. So if you want to email us, tell us we're great, tell us we're shit, tell us we're something in between. fansacrossthewaterpod@outlook.com is where you can email us. Our Twitter, because I refuse to call it X, is FATW Podcast. The Instagram is Fans Across the Water Pod. And finally, because Marnix and I are a bunch of woke boys, we're also on Blue Sky at FATW Pod as well. And again,
eat the rich.
Yeah,
fuck capitalism.
And also, actually, I should mention, if you search up Fans Across the Water, you can separate the words, or you can do it as all one word, and you should be able to find us on YouTube as well.
Please do.
There we go. That's everything on my end. Just want to say again, thank you to everyone for listening to the episode. Marnix, before we go, anything else you want to add?
No, I think you wrapped it up very cleanly and very well done. So on to the next one.
Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
All right. Cheers.
Our theme music is Uncle Albert, Admiral Halsey, written by Paul and Linda McCartney, as realized by Marnix Wesselink.